What are you working on now?
I'm working on a thing called The Fight Club.
And tell me about that.
That's David Fincher directing, who directed Seven, who has another visual. He's on to something on this one.
Yeah. What's it about?
It stars Edward Norton and Helena Bonham Carter. And
no slouches, they?
No slouches, no. And it's about two guys who start this amateur boxing league for underprivileged youth and the woman who comes between them.
Ah.
But we twisted a bit.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Gone Girl, which came out in 2014, was a huge turning point in my life. I realise now that there must have been so many people who wanted that role. I couldn't say that I was better than anybody else or I did a better audition. I just think that David Fincher homes in on what he wants, and it happened to be me for reasons that still mystify me. I think if I'd been too big an actress at that point, people might not have believed that I would have signed on to play the dead girl. But I think at that point in my career, everyone thought Rosamund Pike would definitely sign on to play the dead girl.
I don't know what happens. Something happens when you start shooting something and the character's there and you play it every day and you get into the rhythms of that character, and maybe you kind of go home and you stay in the rhythms of that character. Mm-hmm. And so on occasions I had makeup that helped, but it was me kind of just, and the way that David decides to light me and the way you do, it's all sorts of things you can help it with.
David Fincher's the kind of director where you have all of this backstory and all the things you've worked out for yourself that ultimately we probably never, it's the kind of stuff where you do loads of stuff and you're like, well, this will never be in the film, but this is how I imagine it. Is that stuff that you shared with him, or he shared like bits with you that were helpful? Or was it sort of your own journey that you just put into it?
With Fincher, we didn't really discuss much about that backstory. We discussed, it's in the story itself that, he's at law school, So what's interesting about this sort of comic book as well is he kind of falls into it by accident at college from, one of his professors, and just found that he was sort of good at it and found it like it was something that he could do. But we never really talked a lot of backstory. There was just sort of unspoken stuff. I think a lot of the connection that we both sort of found at the beginning was just doing the first costume fitting. The comic book is based on Le Samurai. That's a big influence on the comic book series. Alain Delon and Le Samurai, he looks sharp, he looks amazing, he's got the fedora type hat and beautiful suits. And then we just started dressing the killer, and it was like found bucket hats, things that looked a little off.
Yeah.
It looked like
the German tourist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is cool because it's not cool. We didn't want to try and make it cool.
Yeah.
And also, that's the brilliant mind of David Fincher. He was like, this is something this guy could buy in any airport.
Yes.
And these are the kind of clothes you can pick up in any airport in the world.
And if you go around looking like a sort of suave secret, if you look like someone, then you're bringing.
It's a different film.
It's a different film, yeah. There's so much wit in this film as well, which there's no room for that if you've got a kind of very suave.
Yeah, you don't want somebody who's going to stand out in the crowd as well. You want somebody that you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
And all of that was like, everything is about the process for what the job requires. So there's nothing else, in terms of style or form that comes in the way of that.
What if they get in here? No, they can't. No, they can't get in here. It's not a possibility. There's no way. I heard you.
Panic room. Jodie Foster threw me a birthday party when I turned 11 with like a mariachi band. I never wanted to leave. Every time I had to go home because it had been 9 hours, I was like, why? I'm fine. I can kick it. I can hang. I'm not tired. And everyone was like, no, it's really, for your welfare. And I was like, I'm well, thank you. May I stay? In terms of preparation, you kind of acquire as much information as you possibly can, and then you kind of hope that it becomes something physical, but I can never get anything up on its feet until it's the word go, until it feels like there's like an honor to the moment and there's a reason why you're doing something as absurd as pretending to be someone else. I had to learn how to have a seizure. I remember it scared everyone else so much, just thinking like, oh, this is very intense for a little kid to do, and watching the videos might be traumatizing for someone that age, and I like broke blood vessels in my eyes and like and I remember being like, what? It's cool. Now things affect me. I'm like sensitive. But when I was little, I was like, I can do it. No big deal. Whatever. Yeah, it was a good first taste. It was like not an easy job. I mean, we really had to like delve into some heavy stuff, and I turned 11 on that movie. Like that was some formative time.
And one of the most talented filmmakers of my generation is David Fincher. But he's not in the same category as me because I'm a writer-director, and that makes it different. That makes it a different thing, And I think one of the things that I've been focused on is there's a lot of writer-directors that come out. They write and direct one movie, a second movie, a third movie. Well, there's a real voice there. There's a real voice. But you know what? It's hard work to go to that blank piece of paper and start from square one. Start from scratch every single solitary time. You are at the bottom of Mount Everest every single solitary time, and everything you've done before not only does not help you, it could even hang over your head. And that is a tough road to hoe. And you make less movies that way. And it's a lot easier to go and look at the scripts that are out there and available, and you can maybe work with a writer or do a little rewrite or do that kind of thing, and you get more movies made. But, cut to 6 years down the line, and where's that voice? It's gone away.
Seven did what for you?
Seven, well, it hooked me up with David Fincher, who's, I love the guy. He's become a great friend, and I love what he does, and it kind of took me down another road. I think that started with California. California was the first time I tried to do some kind of character, something away from where it was heading. I tried to go take a right turn. And Seven had this feeling, this color of the 70s films that I loved, what Fincher was after, and yet it was something new. And I don't know, Fincher could be Orson Welles as far as I'm concerned.
He's an amazing actor.
Yeah, and bright and very
And
bright.
you and Morgan, to work with Morgan.
Uh-huh. Well, great experience.
Fight Club.
Fight Club again, David Fincher.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Edward Norton, also become good friends with since.
Fincher had this idea where I come down the hill and it's backlit, and it's a sort of an introduction to him as this kind of lone, figure. And he explained the shot to me, and I'd never, had been in a film where the director had planned a shot a certain way. We would do 60, 70 takes, just out of hand. My first day, he was coming towards me. Jake and I had done it's like a 4-page walk and talk, lots of dialogue. He's coming towards me, Fincher, finally at take 30. And I'm just like, okay, I did my best. And he literally walks by me. He moves a background artist 2 inches. And then he turns around, he walks, and hits me on the back, and he walks back to the monitor. And I was like, oh, I'm only 10% of the frame. This guy just moved a background artist 2 inches behind me. He wants this thing perfection in 100%, and I'm just 10% of it.
Ben worked with Fincher. Affleck did, and I.
For Gone Girl.
Yes, and so I went down and visited the set one day. Fincher is has that Kubrick thing, he can't unsee what he sees. And so I sat behind him one day while he was directing, and it was this scene where Ben and Rosamund Pike walk into this bookstore, and when the camera rolled, they call background, which is for the extras, the people in the bookstore, and then they call action. So when he calls background and then action, a background actor walks across the frame, and the scene's about to start. But Fincher is already monologuing. He's going, who the fuck walks like that? Now Ben and Rosamund are on the other side of this bookstore and they're doing the scene. But Fincher's just still talking about this. And I'm sitting here going oh my God, they're definitely going to do the scene again. They get through the whole scene. They're acting their hearts out, but it doesn't matter because the scene ended before it began. Fincher goes, cut. And he takes the headphones off. He's like, what the fuck was that? And he looks at me. Now I know what he's talking about. We're sitting there, and as we're talking, a makeup artist comes on, and David goes, that's how you walk. I think for people like that, it's almost like a curse, Because he can't unsee what he sees, and that's the genius, right?
David had done a picture called Seven, which I'd seen a year and a half ago.
Brilliant.
Before that, great film.
Did well at the box office too.
Extremely well in the box office. And David had been involved in working on this screenplay for about a year and a half, so I could see how clear his vision was and how well it was thought out. And I was a big fan of his. As it turned out, I was right. He's a really visionary guy, one of maybe 3 or 4 directors I've worked with who you felt saw the movie from beginning to end, right from the very, very beginning.
You had no role in the producing of this?
No, none whatsoever. No, it's the joy of acting, Charlie. It's really the joy of acting and not having to worry about any of the other responsibilities of producing.
And you can turn yourself over without and shut off that producing, controlling instinct.
I welcome it. I relish it. And again, having someone like David involved with such a clear idea made my job so much easier.
I remember trying to break through this scene in this movie I did with David Fincher's movie Zodiac. It's raining and I run up to this door and I'm trying to get information, and we shot the scene twice and we shot it probably over, I had 50 takes of it. I remember I never really got that scene. And if I did, or if he did, I never did, which is an interesting thing as an actor.
What he did on that movie technically was just a jaw dropper to watch on a day in, day out basis. He was doing things that were just like so off the wall and impressive and innovative. And the way that Fincher's technical capabilities enhanced the discombobulation of the experience, which is what the film is about. It was all snowballing in a way that was really impressive to watch.